All right, this is Sam Graham and James Meldrum. We're going to be talking about network organizations.
Network organizations are larger companies that need to have smaller jobs done or have jobs that they aren't used to doing to get done. Because smaller companies are able to be more versatile, they're able to make decisions quicker, they're able to work on something that they aren't normally working on faster than changing a large company's direction just for one piece of software. Smaller examples of networking organizations or supply chains. If a large company needs steel and they don't make steel, they'll order it. Complex networks are places that buy out each other so that you have a larger company that has a smaller division that's actually a separate company.
Some common examples of this are Microsoft. What they do is they take their products and they split them into mini businesses. For example, Internet Explorer is separate from, say, the Windows team, and they're separate from the Office team, etc. Another example is Google. They recently, in the last decade or so, bought AppJet and used their product to create what's now Google Docs. Another example would be Apple. They use Foxconn to make iPhones as a joint venture. And that's just some of the examples out there that are really prevalent and really easy to look at.
So many of the great benefits of this is it lets a larger company that has stopped being as innovative remain in an innovative state of mind by allowing smaller companies to adjust, that help them adjust to changes. This also helps because a small company that wants to be into a new place, like if a new software company comes out, but the software they want to make already has a main product, they can get into that by aiding the larger product for a time. Larger companies are also able to benefit from this because they don't need to hire on permanent staff. If they have their project finished, they're done with the other staff and they can dismiss them, or if they can keep them on if they are needed.
Some of the pros for this: you don't need to restructure anything in order to take advantage of the other company's services. Additionally, there's no training costs. That already happened with the contractor. So let's say you need to build some sort of widget. They already have the widget. They've already gone through training for how to use the widget. It's done. And you also get more innovative solutions like with AppJet. Google buys them out. They already have the product. They have that innovation. It's theirs, and they're done. And it's over. It's very easy.
This, of course, reflects in real advantages such as lower startup costs. A large company won't have to invest as much money in getting their product rolling again, instead of hiring someone else that already has something similar to develop it. It gets rid of a lot of the technical problems that come from setting up. Things such as adding new networks, such as setting up a new development environment. This also lets the company add and remove different elements at all times. It can bring in a networking group to put together networking. When they're done with networking, they can bring in a graphic design group. All these times being able to add on the parts they need for their new piece of software.
Now, with all these advantages, there comes a cost. One of them that's very prevalent is just the communication equipment or programs. You need to have something set up where you can have multiple people talking to each other, possibly from different parts of the world. And this can be quite expensive. Additionally, you might have legal costs, making sure your contracts are solid and that the product is guaranteed from that other company. And again, there's also the cost of purchasing the company if you go that route. So in all these things, there's different costs involved, and it can be quite expensive.
A lot of the cons that come from this come from sending your product or your projects over to another company. Implementation is going to be less controlled because it's not being done by your company, it's being done by the smaller company. They may produce the software you want, but they're going to produce it on their timetable, they're going to produce it their own method. And you also have to deal with costs of taking all these smaller parts that you've outsourced and bringing them in and putting them back together. Integration is going to be very expensive.
So for disadvantages, in addition to all these cons, you have difficulty changing the contracted software. You don't have that built-in expertise that comes from doing it in-house. You also have a communication problems and delay. This can sort of be mitigated by spending a little bit more on your communication equipment. However, it's still going to be a disadvantage. And you also can get stuck with bad contractors. There's been many cases of this where you go out, you get your contractor, and then you're forced to buy the software because something in the contract wasn't correct, as with the FBI case file system. They got stuck with a bad contractor. They were forced to buy that poor product at the end, and it was a terrible situation. So this can happen when you network like this.
So what we do is we recommend you do this as a temporary solution. It shouldn't always be the go-to answer for your company. Mostly what you need to do is you do this when you need specialized help. Instead of having to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to bring in a specialist, you can then have someone else that already specializes in doing it, have them hired on to fix the problem. You also want to do this when communication is one of your priorities, because communication will be difficult. Also, if you need to control how things are put together, you're going to lose that when you hand over the solution to a smaller company. So normally this isn't something done by a small company, it's going to be done by a large company as well. Here are our sources for our product. We learned a lot by reading through these, and we built our slides off of this. Thank you for listening.